My name is David D'Souza. I'm Membership Director of the CIPD, the professional body for HR and people development. I think the first step that we have, if you're attempting to turn insights into actions, is have a look at some really simple models around the quality of data that you're utilising. So we talk about being evidence-based in the CIPD. Look at the sources of evidence that you have available to you. So what's your experience as a practitioner? What information have you managed to get locally from statistics? What do you have in terms of research that you might be able to draw upon? And what are your stakeholders telling you? If you can pull that into one place, you get a really rich understanding of what you need to do. It's really difficult to ask a really well-posed question, but it's worth spending time on it. You can answer lots of questions in organisations and add no value whatsoever, and I've seen that happen, which is where people are aggregating data as rapidly as they can to answer questions they'd have never thought of before. Think about the key questions that your business has. Talk to the leaders within the organisations around what's troubling them. Look at some of the data that you have and see what interesting questions it throws up. But be really focused on what problem you are trying to solve. It's far too easy to get drawn into the data and the patterns and the enticing proposition that you can solve the world from there. But what 2 or 3 things do you really need to know to progress? One of the best ways of weighing different sources of data against each other is to simply give it to someone else and see what they say. It's really easy for our own biases to creep in, and some people will weight their own professional experience more highly. Some people will just go and look at some analytics that's been provided to them and say, well, this is obviously telling us that. There's normally different layers that sit underneath it, but the more people you have working on that data set, the better chance you are to be able to see it from different angles and make the best possible discernment around what you should be doing next. One of the best and worst uses of data over the last few years has been the engagement survey. We've used it at times to give us real insight into organisations and where we take action, and at times it's been used by organisations with little depth of understanding and certainly not asking or surfacing the questions or voice that employees would want it to. We've had a series of scandals within organisations. There are some key themes around harassment, around voice, around bullying, around innovation and some of the more positive things within organisations. And we need to ask ourselves whether the questions that we're asking are really getting to the heart of some of those issues. For some organisations I know they are, and it's really making a difference in the way they treat their people and work with their people. For other organisations it's a tick box exercise, it's a scale, and they're not getting underneath that. And that's an example where the same data set treated in a different way. It can either be a launch pad for some really positive action for organisations, or it can be a full stop and doesn't realise the progress that it should do for them.